Hi, this is Johnny. I'm doing a video of showing you how to fix the box art, 3D box art that you Google search and find the box art. So you can add it to like track mode or Raspberry Pi when you require a 3D box art, or NeoGeo arcade stick. Like this game wasn't in arcade NeoGeo arcade stick, so if I want to add this, how they go get the box art. So those kind of stuff that will help you. So for example, if you click on it, you can see that the background here, the white, it become transparent. And this one is the same thing. So that download is a good image. So you don't have to do anything. This one is a transparent, but originally it wasn't, and I'll show you what it looked like before I fixed this one. And this is the one that's giving me a hard time. I won't able to delete the white background because it won't allow me to. It look at this as a whole pictures, and it won't let me change the white background. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and at the same time try to remember how to do it, because I don't do this often, and sometimes I remember how to do it, but if I don't do a video and a year later I'm going to forget how to do it. So this video is going to help you and also help me to remember how to do it. So this one is a little bit tricky. So if you open up a program called, this one is a free program, and you could easily get, it's called a GIMP, and it's a free software. This is the version I'm using. There's a new one, is 2.10.30. So I probably would be downloading this one. It was created last year December, so about 3 months old. So I might go get the new one. And one thing neat about it is that it have a lot of improve and good tool to use. And I'm still trying to learn. I'm trying to make myself use this more than the window paintbrush, because this one do a lot of stuff. If I could know how to do everything like I know how to do paintbrush, then it would be real cool. So when I open it up, I see this white background and I don't want it. So what you do is you want to select this freezing select tool. You want to click on it. And when you click here, normally you could just press Control. So you do Edit, Control X to delete it. Okay. And it show the checkerboard. That means is a transparency. And it also helped you to, how to move it around and stop moving around using the move button, so you can move it around. But this one is perfectly in the center, so I don't have to move it. But I do want to remove, do Control X. You could just press Control X without using this, but I'm using this so you can see what I'm doing. Those of you who don't understand the English perfectly, you could at least see what I'm doing. I'm just doing Edit, and I'm cutting the background, the white background, to make it where it is transparent. So I'm do Edit and then Cut, and that is transparent. And some of this I could still delete it, so I'm going to do Edit and then Cut again. Okay. And so therefore this is very good transparent. It has some highlight around it, which is cool. All right, that's good. It's just shaded of this box art, so it show more of a 3D. So once it's done, you could do File, and you could export directly on the file, or you could export as a different file. So if I want to save it to the same file, I want to export it to. Now you don't do save as. This is not, save as is different than normal file saving. You want to export all the stuff you have done into a single file. So you do want to do export, or export as. So when you say export, it will overwrite this original file. And if you do it the other way, it's the same thing. You just say export, and it's going to ask you what file you want to export it to. What is the new name? Do you want to call it new name, or you want to export? So if I want to keep it the same file name, I'll just click on it, and that was the same file name, and I could export to the original file and they say you just leave everything alone, don't have to do nothing here, and just click export. And that's another way to do it if you want to change the name. All right, so this one is not hard to do because you could just press Control X. But this one right here, if you do File, Open, this one won't allow me to do it. Okay, so if I click Open, let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. It won't allow me to do like this one does, where you could just delete it. So I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to come in with see, this is a file that I'm trying to open. And it have white background as well. I want to be transparent, so it will only show the box without showing the white background, which it doesn't look good. So if I click on this area and I select edit and I want to cut, it doesn't do nothing. It didn't cut anything. Okay, because the background did not, it's just white. It won't let me do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that out. Say, do you want to save this? I say no. Now I want to open up the file in the same format. So what I'm going to do is go Control Tab, and I want to see what's the size. This is 602 by 1024. So I'm going to open up the same size, but I want to be transparency. I want to paste this one on top of transparency. I'm going to do File, and I want to do New, and it's going to ask me what size I want. Now this one is very similar to the one that I did a video like a year or two. It's about how to do a GIF file and make it to a PNG so you can use it in a NeoGeo arcade stick. And I'll put the link of that one. That one is very good information. That one kind of helped me remember how to do this one, because I kind of like, okay, why is it not deleting? Am I going crazy? Then I watched the video, then I realized, okay, I need to do something else. All right, I'm going to do 1024. That was the size. Now you want to click on Advanced. If you don't, the background color is going to be whatever color it is, which is white. So I want to change that to transparency. So that background will be like this, checkerboard, which be you could see right through it. So you're going to do OK. So I have a new transparency, which is the same size of the first one that we was trying to do, the second one, I mean. So now I'm going to say open as a layer. Layer mean that it's just a picture over on top of another pictures, which is, and then you could, so I'm going to open this one on top of that as a layer. Okay. Then I'm going to go and select this button again. Select that. And then I'm going to try to do Control Delete, see if that works. I mean, Control X. See, it still doesn't do it. Control I, Control X. Let me try Control I. And then Control X. Okay. So what I did is I pressed Control X and then Control I. So that makes everything disappear. All right. Then I want to use this one. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and remove this one because I don't want the background no more. I want this one. So I'm going to do right click, edit, and this time I'm going to paste it back, which is Control V. So what I did is did Control I first, which is this one. Do Control I. All right, before you could do that, you have to click on this button first. Then we did, I did the Control command, so that's why you didn't see me do this. So I did select, remove, and that's why this disappeared. And now, then I did edit, and then I cut it. So once I finish cutting it, now I remove that layer, and now I'm ready to paste it back. So I'm doing Control V. Okay. So now we are good, but except we we still have this white background, which is okay because now our background is not white anymore. Our background is transparent. Okay. So to fix that, you don't need to cut it again. You just click this button again. Click here. So nothing is highlighted. Then you go click here. Now we're going to do Control, Edit, and then we're going to do Cut. Now, you can see the transparency. A while ago we couldn't. Okay, so Edit and Cut. Do the same thing here. Edit and Cut. Now this is in the background because before it was in a white background, and when we're trying to delete it, it doesn't. The picture is a picture. It's the picture thinking that this picture that is part of the picture, but in our point of view, no, it's not. It's a white background. So this program, what it does is separate them. It select whatever you highlighted, and since this line, this everything was all together, I wind up cutting everything, including the white background. And then once we put it in the transparency background, we could, like if you don't want this white background, you want the transparency, you could do the same thing. You could press delete, but we're not doing that. That is the part of this box art picture, so we don't want to do that. So now this picture is ready to be saved. Okay. So I'm going to do File. We're going to do one more. So I'm not going to take the shortcut by pressing the button without showing you using this. So I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to do File. Now this one doesn't have export to, it just say export. So you're going to say export as, and this picture, we're going to change it to, we're going to replace the original one, which is white. And we're going to say replace. And here you don't do nothing, you just say export. And that's it. And now this background will have a transparency background. So if you were to come back here, see now if you click on it, see the background is transparency, it's no more white. So let's do one more. Okay, let's do this cartridge. Now I do kind of want to keep this size, but this is a front view, and that's just a side view. And this is 400 by 720. Well, let's go ahead and open this anyway. We're going to say open with GIMP. That's the program you have to install first. Okay, you want to convert it, let's convert it, and that's what it looked like. Now, let's try to delete it. Let's try to delete the white background, see if we could delete it. And do cut. Ooh, we cut the whole thing. See that? We don't want that. We don't want to cut the whole thing. So we gotta do the same thing like we did the other one. So I'm gonna do go back to basic image. We'll bring it back. Okay, we're gonna do another one. What I did is I kind of cheated. I used the paintbrush and reduce the size because the way you reduce size, just drag the bottom up and down to reduce the size. So I use the paintbrush because I know how to do it easily, and I don't know how to do that from the other one. So the size I want is 380 by 333. Okay, let's make it a little bit more small. I think 333, yeah, 332 or 380 by 332. Make a little bit more smaller while on the line. All right, 332. So this is the size I want. Okay. So, but I want to get rid of the white spot. So to do this, first I resize the box art to smaller because the original size it was this big. It was this small, and it got a whole bunch of white spots. So now I reduce the size, but it's still not transparency. So now I could bring it in and fix that. So I'm going to do File and do New, and I'm going to do. So there's two ways to do this. We could do a brand new transparency and bring the box on. A while ago, what we did is we create another layer. This time, we are going to put that directly on top of the transparency box. So we already know what we want to do. So we are bringing in the box. We would advanced, and make it to transparency. Okay, and then we do OK. All right. So now we have a box that we're going to bring in the one that I just adjusted, the box size. So I'm going to go ahead and open up as a layer. Before we open up as a box, we open the picture up and we did the layer. This time we're doing the opposite. We open up the transparency box and then we add in the picture on top of this as a layer. So it's loading and it's going to open up that file. Okay, and this is not the one we want. The one we want is the one we did, which is number 2. We're going to open that one up. And now we are going to change to the freezing tool. And we're going to select here. And then we're going to do edit. And then we're going to do cut. And it still did not cut it because it still act like it was, it didn't cut this box. Okay, so it still won't do it. So what I'm going to do is just select it, right click, and this time I'm going to show you the command instead of me just pressing the button. We're going to invert, and then we are going to cut it. Okay, now we can remove this box that originally came from, delete the layer, and then we're going to do right click and then we're going to paste it back. So Control V. Now we're done, almost done. Now we're going to get rid of that white spot by deleting it. Now when we delete, it will work because it's the background now is transparency. It's not it's no longer the. So we're going to do a little bit more trimming, so make it more prettier. And we really don't need that much of a, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. The shadows no need to be that long. So that's pretty good. So now this background is transparency. So that's the second way to do it. Is fix the box artwork by using a paintbrush and then bring it back in. See, if you bring it back in and you do file, new layer, you automatically know what size. So it's a little bit easier. You don't have to try to figure out what size of the box. You automatically know it's 380 by 332. And then you could create a new layer. I think this way is easier instead of trying to figure out what size the picture is and then try to put it in the transparency. So either way, if you do it this way, you just have a transparency, and then once you cut it, you could remove the white one and then put that artwork on top of it by pasting it onto the transparency background. We're just going to delete that. All right, so this one is done. So we're just going to do file, export. We're going to do export as, and we're going to export to the one I just created. So one thing about track mode, for it to look pretty and I'll put it on Raspberry Pi, you have to go download a box art, look for it, and depend if you want a 3D box art or a cartridge, you will have to remove the white background or whatever background you have so that it will present itself as a cartridge without without the funny background. So we're going to put it now on this one. We're going to go back. We're going to go to cartridge, and the one we did was this one. We resize it so that, and I'll show you how I did it with the paintbrush to get to this point. So I'm just going to export it back out and replace. Now this one would be, and don't touch anything here, just do export. And now this is the new pictures. So if you was to go back here and you view extra large, see this one is the original one, and now this is the new one which have no white background, it's transparent, but this one was the one that I download. So what I did is I went to the paintbrush, show you what I did. I went in to select, since we know we're not going to use any of those background, we could just cut and bring it as high as you want to the edge, and we could just cut this picture, and we just do cut. Okay, now so you got all this shaded gray, we don't want those. So now we want the box to be the same size as we cut it, because this original is 486 something, you know. So what I did is I just make it as small as possible, you know, and then just paste it. And then now this is the size I want, 290 by 353. Okay. And now since I use a paintbrush does not support transparency, so you lose all your transparency, which is fine. So it's 290 by 253. Then I could go ahead and save this. So I'm just going to do it another one, save. And we're going to call this one number 3 to show you how I went around it, because I didn't know how to do it from. So you say you lost your transparency, will be lost. You want to save the picture. To continue, click OK. So I'm clicking OK. All right, so let's close that one out. So now this picture is, this one is transparency and this one is not. Make it 3D looking, but have a transparency instead of having 3D. And then we're gonna move this to part of my Raspberry Pi collection, and then we could try those games out.